Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Pepe, seeing what's going on, helping understand best practice, big picture. Keep in mind we are seeing this resistance rejection here, right there at about 163,000, and then furthermore we're in that that resistance zone, which was previously a support zone. So we got to recognize this area is going to be a point of contention for a while. Until we break above solidly, we don't really have any proof that we're just going to see a massive breakout. But there is truth here in the sense that we are seeing a bullish type of pattern here, which is typically like an ascending or basically a descending type of channel, which typically breaks to the upside because it originated from the downside, right? So it typically looks something like that. We'll talk about that here and much more. Also, of course, a few other key factors that I think are important to recognize just when taking trades in this market right now. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor. Love to teach people to trade. Hope you can learn something here today. You want to become a better trader? CryptoCash.tech is a site. We took some healthy profits here yesterday. Nice 31% short from Ethereum, target 2, and Bitcoin target 1 at 20%. So those are still open. I feel confident we're going to hit our targets, our additional targets, of course, to the downside just based on the way that Bitcoin is behaving right now. But in truth, we're still waiting for invalidation levels, or more so validation that Bitcoin will surpass that 31,000 range. Okay, so we got to get a closure above 30,800 today or higher in order to have that confirmation. The reason why I mention that is because you may not be concerned with that. It's like, well, we're looking at Pepe here today. Why is that a big deal? Well, you got to keep in mind, Bitcoin is the big dog. And as you can see here, Bitcoin going sideways leads to Pepe going slightly down. Okay, so you got to keep in mind every correction from Bitcoin leads to a larger correction from Pepe. So if you understand that, you're going to be more successful in general, knowing that, well, you probably get stopped out on your long positions if Bitcoin makes a slight correction. If Bitcoin goes up, then Pepe will too. So just some things to recognize. All right, so let's talk about a few things. Oh, quick thing to note too. This is a very important. We got this exclusive event until July 31st. For BingX, you get $50 for deposit, of course, if you just deposit $50. And then if you use $3,000 in trading volume, which is super easy with leverage, by the way, you get a $100 bonus too. So this is available only until July 31st. Be sure to check that out in your own time. They're pushing that because I'm a copy trader over there as well. So if you want to check that out, my standard futures account is public, where you can kind of effectively be able to, follow my trades, if you will. But, it looks a little something like this. Just freshly started only with $500, seeing what's going to happen there, but we've already got a few copy traders already, so it's a really, really cool situation. Check that out in your own time. Either way, that is BingX, and they're a great exchange. No VPN or KYC required in the US and many other countries too. So what we want to look at here is a few things. So what I've done since we last looked at this here, of course, is I've analyzed quite a few things. And we can see stochastics coming back down, of course. So had you shorted the top there, you'd probably be in pretty good profit. That's not the important thing here. What we want to look at is that we're above 50 on the RSI. That's one of the biggest things you can identify on a daily to recognize that you are on the right side of track still. So that does reaffirm that this support level here, right here at about roughly just say 132,000, should hold strong because that is where the simple day, the 50-day simple moving average is averaging itself out. Okay, so that's a very positive sign, right? So it kind of tells us the bottom is getting close to in here, and we should only see up from here. Again, there's no guarantees there. The MACD is starting to lose momentum, so it could still very well continue down. There's no duration as far as how long this channel continues. It can go for a very long time. But in most cases, you'll probably see about 2 or 3 retests of either side before the next breakout. We have seen that so far. We've seen 4 retests at the top here and roughly 2 to 3 on the bottom. So perhaps we can see the price increase from here. But the thing we got to recognize, first of all, regardless of this descending channel, is that we have to close above this level here at about 162 or higher to be able to validate some type of confirmation to the upside. And the reason why is because we've seen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candlesticks now that have wicked up and got closed below this level in a row. So 5 days in a row, we've gotten rejected from that level. So again, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, well, if we're rejecting out there multiple times, won't we break it because we keep retesting it? Yes and no. This all depends on Bitcoin's success, though, right? You got to keep in mind, Pepe performs very similar to Bitcoin at the moment, and unless Bitcoin can just stay stable to the side and not keep retesting that 30,000 range, then Pepe is going to continue to do what it's doing. You got to recognize if Bitcoin breaks below 30,000, we will see this support range at 132, 135 get broken. Okay, so there's no guarantees it's going to hold. A lot of it has to do with the big dog there. Okay, so just some things to note. Okay, so looking at the 4-hour. We can kind of acknowledge here that we're above 50 on the RSI. That's a good sign. Again, it's tentative for the moment because we've only seen a couple of candlesticks so far, but it does look pretty good. We're also on the verge of a MACD convergence. Now, you got to keep in mind, this doesn't have to converge because it's coming up, right? It'll absolutely turn itself around and get rejected. So one of two things will happen. It'll either converge or reject and turn around. I call that an MACDFU because it turns itself around and you expect it to converge. So do not get your hopes up on that yet until it actually converges. That's when you consider taking a trade after it's already past that level. Because we can see here pretty clear as day, the 50-day SMA is working as a resistance level here, and that is a common trend setter. So if the price is down below that, it'll continue to reject off of it and come back down, okay? So again, getting above the 50 there is very important. We're over 50 on the R side, that's good, but the MACD hasn't converged yet. So do not get too far into this and think that, hey, we're good to go, because that one thing looks very juicy. I totally get it. It's easy to want to jump in, but patience is the only reason why I've sustained being a successful trader over the last, 18, 19 years now? It's like, I can tell you that it was hard at first. It gets easier over time. So please, if you want to become a better trader, reference our website, cryptocash.tech. We've got some really good private videos there, of course, that you can look for in our premium subscription. With Pepe, though, on the hourly, what we want to look at here is a couple of things I think that are important. First of all, the cloud, I'm fairly certain now that we've broken down, we're still within the cloud and below. So you can see we wicked up a little bit above that, but it hadn't officially closed. So this is a key thing. This is why these descending trends are so important, the lower highs, because when the price comes up like this, for example, people get excited, they buy the top. And the reason why is because it's like, oh, cool, we broke through this descending trend, we're good to go. No, you didn't have confirming factors in other time frames, and or you didn't wait for the cloud to effectively finish. What I'm getting at here is the price should naturally be above the cloud here soon, and it should use that as a support level to move up. But at first, when you see that instant rejection or just that instant spike, try not to be the person that just buys in and jumps in because it looks like everyone else is doing it, right? That's when these other, social media influencers, whomever, they have a tendency of kind of getting excited for these increases that haven't fully happened yet. I like to practice, confirmation and make sure we wait. And to me, confirming factors are a few hours of closure above the cloud. So if the price just goes naturally sideways from here, we'll be above the cloud and we'll have that support. But we're not there yet, okay? So again, I think that we need to wait for not only the price to be above the cloud, but more important, to be naturally above this descending trend. And that should be the key takeaway there. And that will likely be a good entry here. And that's probably another 24 to 40 hours away. Okay, so try to be a little more patient here. I know tomorrow it's going to spike up and you're going to be like, oh, I was patient, I missed out my opportunity. That happens all the time. You can't control that. What you can control is your entry, and when you get in and when you do it right, it's a good trade, not a hope and a prayer and shooting an arrow into the water to try to shoot a fish down, right? Or I can't think of any analogies that are really clever right now, but I can tell you it's very important to wait for confirmation. All right, enough about that. Last thing we want to kind of wrap up here with would be maybe TD sequential. We can see we're up to a 9 here, and then we're kind of starting to work our way to the side here. So at this point, again, we've hit that overextended state. Not a good time to jump in. I would recommend waiting until Bitcoin chooses and picks a side. According to smaller time frames, Bitcoin is potentially going to retest 30,700/31,000, but I think that'd be a pretty strong rejection. We have difficulty passing this 30,700 mark. So I'm waiting for a candlestick closure, a one-day candle above 30,700 to either confirm bullish or bearish, whichever way we stay on track there. That'll tell us essentially what's happening with Pepe. So for me, right now, I'm not convinced that Bitcoin is going to break 31,000, so I really don't think that we're going to break 162,000 from Pepe as well. Okay, we got rejected off that level pretty hard. We've had a pretty significant rejection in the past. We have previously established lower lows and lower highs. So until we break that lower low, lower high pattern, we have no reason to believe it's going to break through this level. Okay, statistically it will if we continue to retest it. But is this going to hold, or is this going to be a little bounce there that comes down to establish lower lows? Truly don't know yet. A lot of it is contingent on Bitcoin, which is another reason why we wait. Okay, so again, if you're going to insist on taking a trade, I'd recommend low leverage, low position sizing, just to ensure that you are in a good shape there, and make sure you don't get too crazy here, because heaven forbid it does turn around on you. You can still ride it out, I guess you could say. Okay. Again, I just recommend waiting. So I hope that you get the gist here. Not much else to really note, except for the fact that we just want to wait for the price to break above this level to confirm bullish. I think right now, a closure today above the cloud would be important. So honestly, the price can literally go sideways from here, and we should be able to have some kind of confirmation the price will stick with that. Again, handful of other things we need to worry about, but for the moment, I would just hesitate on taking a position and consider waiting for confirmation. I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you again so much for joining me here. Make sure, again, you take advantage of this exclusive offer through BingX. Then obviously help grow our Twitter. We grew this or created this roughly a week ago. Cash Trading is the Twitter handle there. Go ahead and check that out in your own time. Greatly appreciate you nonetheless. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.